Boy, I know you can't help but to be yourself around me, yourself around me. And I know nobody's perfect, so I'll let you be, I'll let you be. It's the way you weigh your emotions on both of your sleeves. To the face you make when I tell you that I have to leave. Ooh, but I like it, baby. Ooh, I like it, baby. But I like it, baby.
Hello and welcome back to Bookmark Chronicles. Today I'm doing my September wrap up. This month I did not have TBR because I was in a reading slump last month. So instead of trying to force my way through certain things, if I felt compelled to read something, I would do it. I'm really not much of a mood reader, so that was interesting. But overall, I think I had a pretty good reading month. While it was a good reading month overall, we started off with the DNF. I tried to read The Roommate Risk by Talia Hibbert. This is one that a lot of people really enjoy, and I thought that I would enjoy it as well. However, it seems like I don't really enjoy much outside of the Brown Sisters trilogy. Part of the reason that I DNF'd this is because I was listening to the audiobook on Scribd, and at one point it kind of skipped, which is something that apparently has been happening to a lot of people who use Scribd. You're listening and either it goes silent or it completely skips to another chapter and then you have no idea what happened and there's no way to recover that information. So that did happen here. It skipped, but also I really didn't have the desire to pick it back up, so DNF'd. I also am not a huge fan of Friends to Lovers, which is what this was, and honestly I was hoping that it would change my mind, however it didn't. Next, I read The Unmatchable Bachelor by Kelly Papyrus. This was a random audiobook that I found on Scribd. It sounded interesting, and it was only a 3-hour listen. This is about a matchmaker who gets approached by a guy who has had multiple failed engagements. So she's trying to figure out what's really going on and if she is actually going to be able to find him a match. I actually enjoyed it more than I was expecting to. It was an easy, quick read, and I ended up rating it 3.5 stars. This is the first time that I've read anything by this author, and I haven't heard a lot of people talk about her, but I think I definitely pick up something else by her. Then I listened to the first book in Katie Roberts' Touch of Taboo series. It was Your Dad Will Do. I gave it 2.75 stars. Definitely not my favorite. I also am not a fan of the whole baby girl daddy kink thing, so it just wasn't for me in general, but if that's something that you are into, I would definitely recommend this one. In this, she literally starts fucking her ex-fiance's dad, so there's that. Hi, hello, editing ready to pop in. I also read book 2, Gifting Me to His Best Friend. I don't know how I skipped that, but I also read that. I also didn't love it. I rated it, I think, 3 stars maybe. It was okay. I'm gonna give this series one more try. It's not that I didn't like this one, like I appreciated the polyamorous relationship and all that, but the talking irritated the fuck out of me. So didn't love that, but it wasn't bad. Next, I read Kingdom of Souls. This was the book club pick for the Pages in Color. I really enjoyed this one. It was a 5-star prediction for me too, and I'm so happy to say that it actually was one. And this we're following a young girl named Ara. Both of her parents are powerful witch doctors. However, she doesn't have any magic and she doesn't know why, but she is willing to do anything to get it. If you enjoy fantasy that includes things like witch doctors and demon magic, then you are absolutely going to enjoy this one. Honestly, from the very beginning, there were a lot of moving parts and a lot of things happening, but I think that's what kept my attention and that's why I enjoyed it so much. So I've already bought book 2 and I am hoping that maybe I can get an arc of the 3rd. Next, I read Enthralled. This is the second book in the Spider's Mate trilogy. I do have a drunk book review of the first book, Ensnared, so I will have that linked in the cards and in the description. In this, we're following Ketan and Ivy. Ivy is a human whose spaceship crash landed on this alien spider planet, and he wakes her up and she's like, what the fuck is going on? But then they end up falling in love, and it's a very interesting story, I have to say that. And so book 2, there's so much more political intrigue and more action, and there's more people and more Vrix, and I really actually am enjoying this. I probably won't be able to read book 3 until November because next month is Black Moonathon, but I will be reading it before the end of the year because I'm very interested to see how it ends. There is one character that I really fucking hate, and unfortunately I've been informed that he does not die. However, I am still holding out hope that the queen is going to die, so hopefully I'm right about that one. Next, I read Survive the Dome by Kosoko Jackson. This is the book that I read to give this author a second chance after I DNF'd I'm So Not Over You at 5% at the beginning of the year. I don't know what it is about this one, but I absolutely loved it and I was so pleasantly surprised. Rated it 5 stars. I don't know if it's because I'm not a huge sci-fi person and I really like the elements of it, or if I just wanted to read a sci-fi with a black boy as the main character. I don't know. Where does this take place? Fuck. Is it Baltimore? Unless you're following a young man who lives in Baltimore, he's on his way to a protest after an unarmed black man has been shot and killed by police. Almost immediately after he gets down there, shit hits the fan and all of a sudden there is a dome covering the city. No one can get in, no one can get out. All technology is down. And he runs into this other guy and they are working together to try to survive. I've heard people complain about the dialogue in this book. I did a blended read, but I mostly ended up listening to the audiobook and the dialogue didn't really bother me. Yeah, it is cheesy at times, but I mean, it's YA and there's a romance subplot. I've also heard some people say that the ending is unrealistic, but it's science fiction. And given the circumstances, it's really not. So strongly disagree. If you are a sci-fi fan, I would highly recommend this, but it does talk about racism and police brutality, so be aware of that going in. And the final book that I read this month was Soul of the Deep. I had an arc of this, but the book is now out. This is the sequel to Skin of the Sea, where we are following a mermaid whose job it is to collect souls. In the first book, she goes to collect someone's soul, but that person is still alive, so she has to decide if she's going to take his soul like she was supposed to, or if she's going to let him live. So this picks up 6 months after the end of the first book, and I've said this before, I don't typically enjoy the second book in a duology more than the first, but the stakes were higher, there was a lot more action, more political intrigue, there were a lot of great things happening, and there were some plot twists along the way that I also appreciated. I can't speak to the representation of the Orishas and the lore, but I did still enjoy it overall, and I rated it 4.5 stars. So those are all the books that I read in September. I'm super excited about my TBR for next month because it's Black Queenathon. A lot of people are saying that they've read the books that I've picked. All of them seem good. I'm expecting to have a really good reading month. But let me know if you have read any of these or if they are on your TBR. Otherwise, that's all I have for you today, and I'll see you in the next video.